And we're back. So, you make your way towards... what is the name of the establishment?
Yo Mama's establishment.
No.
No, something stew, wasn't it?
No,
No.
you're headed to the
sorry, we're going
seamstress
to the other
place. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My brain was just like, Luka's time to or Arya's time to stop.
Oh, we're not there yet.
No.
Okay, so
tried that. No one was on side. So.
So you head across town towards the area where previously you'd done. When you were headed towards the Undercroft, you passed through the main market district of the town. You head into the market district once again, and take a look for the address that you have been given, and eventually you come across the Tallithsyr, which is the seamstress establishment that you were told was the workplace of Visha Maria. From the appearance of this place, it is indeed a Rastris affiliated establishment, and appears to sell high class party wear and formal attire, but seems to tailor primarily in bespoke creations. They only have a few pieces in the window, but they seem to be much more in the market for commissioning bespoke garments. As when you push the door open, there is a curtain up, and a number of individuals seem to be fitting someone for a dress. A human man steps in, like as you guys enter, dressed in a formal suit and tie, and just sort of says, "Welcome to the Tallithsyr. How may I be of assistance?"
Well, we're hoping to get in touch with Fisher Murier, and also like flash the emblem.
Okay. He looks at the emblem, and his smile tightens a little and says, "She's with a client currently. Can this wait?"
This can wait. It is not urgent.
Feel free to browse.
Can I lean into Grim and whisper, like in Novice, just like, didn't we just agree not to flash that at every opportunity?
No, but like this felt like appropriate moment.
Okay.
Maybe just like tell us if you're gonna.
You don't know what I didn't know you spoke Nomish.
Oh, right.
But like,
Never mind. I'm oblivious.
You don't know what I just said.
Yeah, you guys sort of wander around the store for a short period, until a woman with fairly long but tied back blonde hair approaches. Looks at the four of you, gets sort of like a wary look on her face, and sort of as she steps up, she says, "I'm Fisher. What's this about?"
Oh, we were told you knew some things about. No, not that. No, that's the live one. Where's the name? Forget that guy.
Istavir.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yes, it was further up than I thought it was. Yes. We understood you knew Istavir in some sense.
She gets a very weary look on her face, and sort of says, "I thought we were done discussing this."
Well, we need to ask you some questions. If it is inconvenient, we would be willing to well, reschedule.
No, it's fine. Let's get this over with.
So, how? I guess. Well, let's start off with how did you know Istavir?
She just sort of shrugs lightly and says, well, how does anybody know anyone? I've been friends with Ranagar for, well, since I moved here, and I knew Istavir through Ranagar.
Ah, yes, that makes sense. So, when was the last time you saw Istavir?
Well, before, well, what happened. I'm not too sure. It can't have been more than a couple of days. 2 days at most. Ranagar and Istavir and I, we go to, there's an evening event in the Matron's Trove. It's sort of a tradition of ours, or sorry, was a tradition of ours, that we'd go there after a hard day's work and share a few glasses of wine.
Okay. Well, let me just write that. Like, what was? Is it the matrons?
The Matron's Trove, yes.
True. Well,
I don't suppose you know if he had any known enemies or people he didn't exactly get along with.
She sort of looks a little bit sad and just sort of says, he was a Scion. He had plenty of people who didn't like him. But, like I told your other enforcers, I don't think he had anyone who was, well, violently opposed to him. Sure, he upset a couple of people, but
well, I'm not sure how relevant this will be, but where did they? How would you put it? Before he was became a Scion, what was he before that? If you happen to know.
Istavir, well, he's been a Scion as long as I know him. He started out, I believe, as a commissioned architect for the house. He designed a lot of the housing complexes that are towards the outer edge of the city.
Good. Well, does anybody else have any questions?
I don't think so.
Well,
I feel like there's something else we should ask, but I can't, like...
Yeah, I
I
can't come up with
suppose-
anything.
I suppose Elizabeth could say, like, well, supposedly Istavir and Ranagar had a few fallings out. Do you know what they were usually about? Like, specifics?
She sort of scrunches up her face a little bit and then like looks across at you and just sort of says, that was personal. I'm not sure that's relevant.
Personal is information.
well, because unfortunately, this investigation may have made it relevant.
Personal,
Um,
personal, but if it's something that might be relevant to what happened, even if it seems very distantly so, it might help us find out at least another avenue to go down.
Give me a persuasion check.
Who?
One
We
of
help
you.
her.
I say
Whoever's
Kelariis
making
does
it.
it, but like, could we say she has help because we've all done it?
If anybody else is proficient in persuasion, I will allow it.
I
Is
don't think anyone is.
I don't
Anybody
think-
else?
Nope.
No?
I don't think we
Okay.
made any strong arguments either, so good
No.
luck.
Okay, well, I'll...
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. Oh my
Oh
god.
Wow.
no!
We did
I
not make
rolled a one
any.
thing this entire session.
Ouch.
Big ouch.
Yeah, she just sort of like looks up and says, "I'm sorry. It's I'm not."
It's alright, then. Well,
Well,
forgive us for asking that.
like if it becomes directly relevant, we'll come back to you.
Well,
This may seem a bit more of a roundabout thing, but do you know anybody who may have had trouble with, Ranagar?
With Ranagar?
We just want to try to cover all of our bases. We don't have a lot of knowledge personally about things. Well, we're not from here, in case that wasn't clear.
She thinks for a moment and just sort of says, No, I'm sorry, honestly. Ranagar he keeps himself to himself. I still don't really understand how someone as widely popular as Istafir and someone as quiet and isolated as Ranagar even got together in the first place, but... No, I'm sorry,
Mark that down.
What did you say, Luka?
I said mark that down.
you said got together. What was the nature of their relationship? Were they just business partners or friends? or-
Business partners.
Oh.
She sort of like looks up and just sort of like assesses you for a moment and just says, they lived together.
I think that will suffice.
Just two bros chilling in a hot tub.
Not right next to each other because they're fucking gay.
Yep.
Wow.
I don't think.
Well,
they're
I think if that's it, we might want to if we would want to contact you in the future. What would be a more convenient time? And place.
She like rubs the back of her neck and just sort of says, I really would appreciate you if we stopped doing this when I'm at work.
That's why I'm asking for a time and a place.
Well,
yeah.
if you come by in the evenings, we finish up here just before sundown, so
Okay.
any time after then, I'll usually be at home.
Well, don't worry. We won't be showing up anytime soon unless, well, we know you know anything, or like you've got anything that you might relate to.
And we're not going to do it at your workplace anymore.
Should
I
be
would
good.
appreciate that. This really hasn't been easy.
I can imagine.
Well, if you do think of something that we ought to know, well, you can just leave a note or message with, and I'll give was wrong. What's his actually proper name again?
Rungavir.
Rungavir Mabelhune and then I'll just give the address of where he was.
Yeah, the station.
At the station. But otherwise, I think we'll let you get back to what you were doing. And,
She sort of stands up, curtsies politely, and returns to sticking pins in a dress model.
honestly, might not be a bad idea to invest in some good-looking clothing at some point. Just looking at all these slightly nicer.
Yeah, the place is fairly. What's the word? Upmarket, I guess. Is the best way to term it. Like everything here seems to be hand tailored.
Well, although I feel like if we do that right now, it might be a bit.
Yeah, let's not do
little
it right now.
Bit odd.
Yeah, let's maybe. And also,
Remember this for the future.
Yes.
I don't know. It's not like we have a dearth of places like this back home.
No, but like during an investigation, and the suspect. Well, I wouldn't say suspect, but one of the
Someone-
people
Person
works
of
here.
interest.
Yeah.
I mean, also, unless we have to leave quickly, we'll have time to come back. I
Yeah.
think what Grim's trying to say.
Yes. At a more appropriate time.
Yeah, none of you cut a particularly formal figure in your furs and leathers and travel clothes.
I mean,
Yeah.
because
Actually, that might be that you mentioned. That might be a reason to. Never mind. Well,
I mean, yeah, technically Victoria does wear fine clothes.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, yeah.
Victoria's the other one.
I can't believe
Victoria's the other one, and me. No,
Yeah.
Elizabeth does wear fine clothes.
a little too much self-insert.
Yeah.
When you get too far into the self-insert.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Victoria does definitely does not wear fine clothes. She wears.
No, I definitely do not wear fine clothes.
Oh, I was talking about the other one.
Oh yeah, yeah. The other one doesn't either.
Oh,
She
the
was
self-dunk was real.
What?
Oh, that's
I don't
fine.
wear fine clothes. It's a fact.
Yeah.
But
No, I know,
Elizabeth wears
but
fine
like
clothes.
Ferrous wasn't even trying to like make a comment on you, but you just
You just took
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
Yep.
Look, if it's truth, I will take it.
Anyway,
But yeah, Elizabeth's already wearing fine clothes. Technically.
Wow, that's. Well, I guess we'll have to make it even better than fine. We'll have to make great clothes.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, fancy is different than like fine clothes. I don't know if that's actually the case in terms of like
Yeah. Well,
mechanics,
it still means
but
I'm the best dressed of all of you
Wow.
my armor's
mean-
fine. Thank you very
for
much.
fancy occasions.
Yeah, I think Kelariis is pretty nice armor, actually.
Thank you, Arya.
You're
But-
Or
welcome.
Luka. I don't know who made
Yeah,
the comment, but one of you
But
do.
in certain places, it's maybe not appropriate to rock up in full armor.
I
Also,
mean,
yeah, I don't think we're rocking in full armor right now, to be honest.
No,
No,
probably
we're not.
So let's. But
Not-
yeah, let's.
not
get,
with how
get
hot and warm
moving.
it is, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hot and damp, rather.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we have time to talk to Arya in the end.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
all
let's-
Minimr wants to do.
So, where
I mean,
Yeah.
are you headed to the house next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably.
Sure. So you head up to the address that you are given. It is a fairly well, I suppose for a modern house, it would be considered a fairly standard 2 up, 2 down, like townhouse. Not huge, but very. Very lavishly furnished, both on the outside and from what you can see as you look in through the windows on the inside. Although, much like many of the houses around here, it has like incredibly heavy drapes that are drawn across most of the windows. You presumably for the light-sensitive tenants inside.
Mm.
For in terms of like well, yeah, for modern living, it's a fairly standard thing. But for living in what you're used to, it's a reasonably like large setup for 2 individuals. Stationed in front of the door is a rather bored-looking young man who is wearing the. He would be in Visimus colours. Is in Visimus colours with like short sword at side and shield in hand. And he sort of like sees you guys approach, like pulls himself up to his full height and sort of says, "Excuse me, where are you going?"
Actually, you are just the person that we need.
Me?
Yes. Well, I'll explain. Well, we're here on a business for House Visimus.
Right.
There's two things you could help us with. First, we were looking into. Well, would you be familiar with the tragedy that happened a while back
He
here?
nods. That's why I'm here.
Okay. Well, I meant as in
This poor guy.
like more familiar, as in did you see the crime scene? 'Cause-
Oh no.
okay. Well, I guess that was worth a shot.
No, I'm here as just to make sure nobody goes in.
Okay. Well, then you're the person to talk to for getting in, I guess. We're investigating the circumstances.
Right, because nobody's supposed to go in.
Yes, but like this, like
Well, we were here for a person, and if no one's supposed to go in, he's probably not here. So, do you know where Vranagon Earth is staying now?
maybe like we should show you the proof as well. Your Christmas, it should be fine, and also show the emblem.
He sort of sees the numbers and says, "Oh, okay.
Yes.
Renegar he's not here now, but he might be by later. He said he was going to come and pick up some stuff."
You have guard duty here every day.
I'm here for a few hours, yeah.
Because I was wondering if you could take a message from him, or give him and take a message. That would be great.
I won't be here when he gets back.
Okay. Well, that was worth a shot. Well, I guess for now, then, can we have a look at the scene?
Sure. He sort of like goes up to the front door, like fumbles with some keys, opens the door, like pushes it open. And yeah, you step inside, and yeah, it confirmed that it is indeed on the inside as lavish as it looks on the outside. Everything seems to be either made of, I guess probably in a drow household most things aren't made out of wood. They're probably made out of like a series of like stone, marble, possibly a number of like carved, like. I guess none of you probably would have ever experienced this, so I will just describe it to you. Basically, there's some furniture that appears to be made out of a solid white, almost like rubbery-looking material. Which, if you sort of venture out and place a hand on it, is solid but slightly soft to the touch.
Does it look like it has been placed here recently?
No.
Okay. No. That's a well, we got like I remember. We didn't actually check the notes that we got, did we? From
What?
the. Well, remember we got a.
Oh yes, yeah. You will have a written copy of the notes that Rung provided you with at
Yes.
Jaldrum's request.
Yes.
So the notes read as follows. It's an explanation of the suspected cause of death of the victim. Severe blunt force trauma to the temple, consistent with a fall against the dresser in his bedroom. Number of self-defense wounds found on hands and arms, primarily bruising and contusions, consistent with a fistfight or other physical struggle, but also a large gash made by a sharp edge on his left hand. Details of finding the body: Renegar found the body and notified enforcers after returning in the early hours of the morning from a House Rastris-owned tavern, presumably the matron's drove. Where he spoke briefly to friends. Istavir did not accompany. When asked why Istavir did not accompany him to the tavern, the reason given was that he had work to finish. Renegar stated that he found this unusual, as Istavir usually went to the Ziltas Manor House when working, but it was not the first time that it had happened in recent weeks, so he did not think anything of it.
Oh.
Renegar has stated, and a brief check of the premises has confirmed, that the house was not broken into, there were no signs of forced entry, and the door was locked when he returned home as usual. And there is a witness statement from Visha recalling that Renegar and Istavir had argued previously prior to the events, and in recent days Renegar had seemed subdued in comparison to normal. She recalls seeing him for most of the evening at the bar, though she was not particularly watching to monitor his movements.
Okay.
Interesting.
That is. We should have
Wonder why he
really
was working
read
from
this
home
before.
suddenly.
Well, like, while we're in here, I might as well cast Detect Magic again.
Okay.
Yeah, it can't hurt.
Wait, so it didn't have any details on the where and hows in the it all happened.
It was in his bedroom.
In the bedroom.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it
Consistent
said.
with, so you got consistent. Yeah, the pressure was consistent with being hit. Hitting the dresser in his bedroom.
Yeah. I will paste the link of the thing, or the
The text.
text. Thank
The
you.
report.
Could you make it a handout?
I can do, yes.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, that'd probably be better.
Because if not, I'm gonna have to handwrite this all into my notes, and that's gonna take
No.
2 years. I could do
Yeah.
it, but it would be bad.
Yeah, fair.
I could do it. It doesn't mean I want to do it.
You know,
Saving ink. So it's for
pencil lead,
nature.
please.
I was
Uh,
gonna say she's probably writing with a pencil.
there you go.
Oh, fine.
Thank you.
Like saving lead.
Yeah, right.
Not even lead, it's carbon. at this point.
Graphite.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
it is.
So, sorry, you were saying?
I think Elizabeth was gonna cast Detect Magic.
Oh yes, yeah. So you go ahead and cast Detect Magic. In the immediate vicinity of standing in the hallway, there is no magic.
Cool.
Well,
We might want to cast it again once we get in the bedroom.
Well, it lasts for,
It lasts
like, 10
ages. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it lasts 10 minutes.
so let's. I guess let's head to the bedroom. Just be careful, because don't want
Yeah,
to make
maybe
her...
like Elizabeth should go in first, just so we have a minimal amount of people in the room.
Oh,
The
it's
spell
more
can
things.
penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by a foot of stone, an inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Yeah, but the radius is like what, 30?
30 feet.
60? Yeah, so
So yeah, I will Elizabeth makes a point of walking through as much of the rooms as possible.
Yeah.
I guess, just to maximize the detect magic.
Okay, so you detect that there are probably 3 major magical sources within the vicinity of your spell that you pick up. One seemingly in a space that appears to be the kitchen. one in a room that appears to be a like almost set up like an office space, and then one coming from upstairs.
Okay,
Interesting.
well, what's the one in the kitchen?
Okay, you step into the kitchen. Follow the ping until you get to essentially a block of knives.
Oh, an enchanted knife, maybe.
Yeah, from a cursory examination, they appear to contain a minor enchantment that keeps them sharp.
All right,
I guess
checks out.
might as well have a quick glance and if there's any blood on them, but I doubt. Look, would be
No,
silly
yeah,
if we
we-
missed
No,
it.
that's totally
Yeah,
fair.
you pull all of the knives out; they are all clean.
Well, I'll put them back in the same place.
Well, let's presumably we pull them out one at a time.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Nope.
You check the knife block.
But and then what was this other one that was in the downstairs?
So you step into the room that's set up like a study, and following the magical sense, you can tell that basically there is an enchantment on a drawer.
Okay. What kind of?
From detect magic tells you school.
Yeah.
Illusion.
Oh, an illusion on the
Interesting.
drawer. Okay.
Which door is it, do you know?
It is the so there are two sets of drawers either side of the central desk space, but there is also a drawer within the primary body of the desk. It is the drawer in the primary body of the desk.
So I guess I'd try to. Knowing there's an illusion, is it actually on the drawer itself, or is there something in the drawer?
It's on the drawer.
Okay. So I guess. Okay, knowing illusion magic. Can I even touch the drawer?
Physically, yes.
I just want
Okay.
to say we might want to still be careful. We are still, this is still someone's private home where they're living. But
True. Let's just go to the scene.
I mean, it may still be worth checking, and
Yeah,
okay,
I would agree
would
with you, Grim, but the fact that somebody was murdered here and
Look,
the boyfriend is a possible suspect.
That is true.
Alright, I'll pull the drawer open then.
Okay, you pull the drawer open. The drawer is empty.
That might be the illusion.
That's suspicious.
Fuck it, I'll cast Dispel Magic.
Okay, what level are you casting Dispel Magic?
Just third.
Okay, give me a dice roll.
Cool. Let me check what the dice roll is for Dispel Magic.
Oh, I can't believe we're gonna dispel it of all things.
yeah, you could
Like-
you just like shove your hand into the drawer. and,
Yeah,
like-
just
Yeah, can you like feel
I
around?
mean, it's too late
first?
now, but
I don't know what's in
No.
the drawer.
Yeah. Just shove your hand
I'd
into the
rather know
bear
what's in the
trap.
drawer yeah, shove my hand in it, fucking takes my hand off. No, thank you.
well, it's more
But
like
you guys-
we can't.
You guys
We-
can't tell me to be cautious and then just say, "Oh, why would you dispel the illusion?"
Well,
But like, it's not the kind of cautious. We're also thinking about the kind of cautious of messing with someone's stuff because we want to leave things as much as the way they were as we can. But like dispelling, I don't think we can re-enchant it. That was more the problem.
Do you finish the spell?
If everyone seems against it, no.
Okay. So
yeah, I would.
drop the spell
I would
slot because you
just-
got halfway through casting it.
Oh man, that sucks.
Well, I feel like it's a sacrifice worth making.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, I'll stick my hand in the drawer.
I don't want
Right.
anyone to just stick their hand in the drawer.
Yeah. Why don't we use something on the desk or like a pencil or something?
Also,
I mean-
Pencil.
I've got a staff.
There we
Like-
go.
Wait,
I'm
but
sure
it's
we-
not like a staff?
well, don't we have to just have like a gauntlet or something in the bag? That should work.
You pull out a gauntlet of some kind. What are you doing with
And
it?
then, well, just wear it and then stick my hand in.
Okay. So you. I guess yeah. Make me a intelligence saving throw.
Ooh,
Oh.
And technically, you get advantage.
I do.
I do?
Well, because it is a
That's
magical
not something I
effect.
imagine. Yeah. Ooh,
Uh,
nice.
Okay,
Like-
so you you place your hand into the drawer and you touch the bottom of the drawer, except as you focus on your hand, there is a faint, almost like heat haze around your hand that tells you that there is an illusion present there that is making you think that you're placing your hand on the bottom of the drawer and that there's nothing in it. But as you sort of feel around, there are bits of paper in here.
Ah. Well, I guess I'll take him out.
Okay, yeah. You pull a number of stamped letters, a couple of folders, and some rolled schematics.
Oh,
Hmm.
Interesting.
well, let's hope this isn't too confidential.
Make me an investigation check.
Actually, I do want it to be
I was gonna say,
confidential.
can
I want to know.
Well, yeah. Can I look at the things
Sure.
as well?
Okay.
Boom shakalaka.
So Grim, you go through all of the letters and pieces of paper. There's this. Leafing through it briefly, this looks like correspondence from a client to a commissioned architect, which matches up with the blueprints that you find.
Okay.
Each of them is dated and stamped and notated, and many of them contain invoices and other pieces of information. It appears that Istavir kept a number of his personal work documents within this drawer. And yeah, he seems to have a long history as an architect. He seems to have built many of the major expansions to the living areas available within the city.
Okay.
Elizabeth, you, in your natural organized mind, begin as Grim is going through these letters. You sort of pick them up after he's finished with them and start putting them together with the bits that match. So, like, you've got a pile of letters relating to one project along with that project's blueprints, etc. Until you reach the end of the pieces of paper, and you have one letter that is unstamped and doesn't match any of the architectural drawings provided.
Shit.
None of them seem to match anything. And the letter simply reads, Architect, the crew is ready and awaits delivery of the plans and your specifications. No margin of error can be accepted. Ensure that the foundations are solid and the depths at which we must dig are within the tolerance. G.
Interesting.
Okay.
And
I feel like
Elizabeth, as always, reads aloud.
this might be the kind of thing that goes above Rung's pay grade.
Possibly.
Well, let's see what else we find.
Well, this is
Yeah.
at the very least evidence.
Of what, though?
Well, something
Well-
going on.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a potential reason. Like, it screams shady to me, which means there's a potential there for someone who might have wanted him dead. You know?
I mean, that might be a big jump to make, but
It might.
This
Well,
is
this is the thing.
fair.
Like, it's. Yeah. It might be a big jump. It might be nothing, but it's possibly evidence.
Well, considering like it's the
It could
only
be more.
unstamped thing,
Yeah, it's unstamped
So-
and it's signed just a letter.
and I shoot like, but I guess do we know if it's unstamped because it's the only unfinished project, or
Well, there's just no projects that go with it. So
Yeah,
it might just be something he never finished, but it might also be something.
The thing that you can draw from the fact that it isn't stamped is it has not been filed under anything.
okay?
Yeah, so it might have just been whatever he was working on at the time, like his most recent project. But depending on what the project is, who knows? Maybe it's what got him killed.
Well, I guess our one clue, like the only related thing that we have is G. I guess that's the only clue as to that project. Whomever G might be.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
unfortunate
do
thing
we-
is that right now we don't really have anybody that we could match that to, I don't think.
But it's a start.
Yeah.
This is fair.
We'll make a note of it, but I don't necessarily think we need to take it with us.
We can copy the letter down and
I mean,
take the
there's
copy
not...
with us.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that will
True.
do. Like,
Because
it's
then
still
we'll know what it said. I mean, there's nothing on this letter that's like marking it specifically. So
Yeah. And nothing in the drawer itself was magical. It was just the drawer.
The
trying to
drawer,
hide
the
what was in
drawer
it.
was magical. It was a private drawer,
Yeah.
presumably to stop people rooting around and reading through all of his private documents.
Yeah.
Man, it's wild that somebody would, want people to not do that.
yeah,
I
weird.
know, right?
yeah.
To be
There's
fair as well, he's an architect who doesn't want people stealing his plans and taking the credit.
Hmm.
Which could totally happen.
well, in this case, that would just lead to them getting beat up, now wouldn't it? Over here.
You have to fly over to a
Let's
different
go.
galaxy and interrupt a diplomatic mission.
For fuck's sake.
Well, shall we? There was one more magical thing, right? It was kitchen.
No, so there's something upstairs.
Yeah, something upstairs.
So yeah, put everything back in the drawer, close the drawer, go upstairs.
Okay, so yeah, you head upstairs following the trace and find yourself in a bedroom.
Is there a dresser in this bedroom?
There is a dresser in the bedroom, and it's
Covered in blood. Oh my god.
well, it's not covered in blood, but there is a distinct point at which the side of the dresser looks to have been damaged, and there is a dark stain.
Oh dear.
Quick, there's only if it's brain matter, we can still do the resurrection.
No!
No, we've...
No, the room has been cleaned.
No, I know. Oh no, I'm being silly. So where's this
Um,
magic?
So the magic appears
Hey, yo,
to
where the magical at?
says to be originating from a small jewelry box.
Okay. Well, enchanted jewelry seems fairly normal, but what exactly is it? Like, is it the jewelry box itself? Is something in the jewelry box?
Something in the jewelry box.
I'll open the jewelry box.
Okay.
Make me a dexterity saving throw now.
Nope. So you pop open the jewelry box, and inside, when the jewelry box is open, you can see that it is coming from what looks like what is essentially a small locket.
What kind of magic is it?
That
Like,
is
is
a
it just a magic item? Is it
good
a magic item, or is there a spell cast on it?
question. I think. Yeah, it's a illusion. Does it
it's
tell
an
you the
illusion.
level?
No.
No, just okay, just an illusion.
Yeah, you just see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and I learn its school of magic, if any.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So it is an illusion.
Okay. So what happens then if I... Presumably there's something in the locket.
Possibly, you'd have to open it to find out.
Yeah, what happens if I open the locket?
Okay, so you with delicate thumbnails pop this locket open. And inside there are 2 portraits of 2 drow individuals, one of whom you recognise as Istavir, one of whom you do not recognise.
Possibly Renegar.
Possibly Renegar. And yeah, as you open it and the light of the room hits it, the images move ever so slightly, like they sort of like move around organically, and like their expressions change ever so slightly. They are faintly animated portraits.
Is it possible that is just the magical effect it has?
Yes, it's likely.
Okay. All right then. I was thinking it was something like it's made to look like it's certain people, but actually it's someone else. But no.
No, it just appears to be animated portraits. It is a simple illusion, but probably not a cheap one to get inscribed in an amulet just to have moving portraits.
Yeah. At least to be permanent.
Yes, the permanency is the hard part. That's
Okay, so
at least a couple of $100 gold.
Yeah. So they were rich, basically.
Oh,
And they were. Somebody was invested enough in the relationship to drop several $100 gold on an amulet.
Oh wait, hang on. That's a really good point. Is there any plants in the room?
I was just gonna make a joke. Man, are you speaking about the house plants that I'm sure?
Are there any house plants in this goddamn room? Wait, they're drow. Are there any house mushrooms?
house mushrooms.
There are not any houseplants in the bedroom, unfortunately.
Dang.
They like the privacy. They're spy plants.
Wow.
No. Also, primarily because without lights or torches, these rooms are all very dark, as you would expect of drow accommodation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's why I said house mushrooms.
No, there are no house mushrooms.
Man, we need to speak with Stone
Shame.
or something.
Speak with stone.
Speak with stone. Speak with door.
Tell me our
Great, wouldn't
secret,
Does it have to be-
Stone.
Does it have to be a living plant? Can we speak with door?
Yes,
No,
it does
you
have to be a living
living.
plant.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Okay.
Can we combine speak with dead with speak with plants? Can we speak
No.
with dead?
Yeah, well.
Also, doesn't Speak with Dead have to be a humanoid?
Well,
Probably.
like ignoring that part, it wouldn't remember everything that happened after it died.
Yeah.
Just-
Anyways,
Ah, well.
Yeah.
I mean, is it worth poking around in the room, or do we think there's not really anything else that we could find that?
I think we should
have an
look
argue?
around at least.
Well, like I think one thing we can do is there any sensible way? Well, I say sensible way that like they could have tripped and hit the desk.
Not with those wounds. all over
I mean,
him.
there's a rug on the floor that is quite possibly a trip hazard.
But it's the self-defense wounds that make
Yeah.
that a less likely thing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if it was just the head or the wound that
Well-
killed him, but it's clearly not just that.
I mean,
Like-
it is possible that the head injury was not an intended outcome, but something still clearly happened that was more than just him tripping.
Like that was I was not going to argue that there more happened. However, if there was if there wasn't, for example, this rug to trip over, odds were that it becomes more and more likely that it was somewhat more intentional.
Oh, like the actual murder part of it.
Yes,
like
it
he
might
was
be
pushed or something.
it might be the difference between backing up and not having a bad fall or being
Someone actually
smashed.
shoving him. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm concerned and interested with the fact that the house wasn't broken into.
Yeah.
At least not in terms
Well,
of
are there
breaking
any-
locks.
Yeah, are there any easy entrance points? Like, what are the windows like in the house?
Well,
Give me. Actually, no. I would say with your passive perception, The windows are heavy framed and don't have a whole lot of mobility to them.
So they're just like ones that open like very, very partially.
Yeah, you could get a breeze in here, but you couldn't you probably can't get more than your arm through the gap in the between the frame and the window.
Yeah.
So I have a well, if we're expecting a murder of some kind, or well, actually, just the general working theory. The reason why he started working from home was as an excuse to, get away from, from his partner without seeming too weird. But in actuality, I think it was a way to set up a somewhat hush meeting, with some potentially, what led to potentially upset clients, and maybe he didn't agree to something, or because the crew was ready and waiting for the plans. Maybe he had a change of heart for whatever reason. So they came for the plans instead of waiting for the delivery.
It's a possible
There's-
theory.
Yeah, it's
Like-
definitely a theory. It's weird that he would have these meetings right when his partner wasn't home.
Well, why would he? Though, if this is supposed to be shady, and he doesn't want his partner to know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it would make sense that he would have these meetings.
Oh,
like if there were shady meetings, he would not want him to be here.
Oh, in that sense, yeah.
Hmm.
Perhaps. Well, depending on the circumstances, it might not entirely have been up to him.
And I'm assuming they used their like. Although I suppose I was about to say usually the the blinds or curtains or whatever. Like yeah, they like shut like full like proper shutters, or are they like curtains?
They are very heavy drapes that basically cover pretty much the whole window.
Okay. Because I'm just thinking, even if you could like, I don't know, if a window was open and you could fit an arm through, it's still feasible that potentially someone magicked their way in.
Well, the more I'm thinking about it, they pulled on one of his arms, right? They grabbed it.
Yeah.
Why would they grab the arm and then attack the other arm? They
mean,
needed
holding
something
down.
from him. Because why else do you hold someone?
Holding
To
them
stop
down.
them from running away, so you can get them easier.
I do have to I don't think they were being held down due to the fact that the head wound. Although I guess murder could
He
be
had
still.
marks on his hand though, where he was clearly defending himself with his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the it was clear he was held onto, but I don't think it's yeah, you would reasonably hold on to someone's arm in a fight, especially if you had a weapon, because it limits their mobility.
It's called the
Yeah.
grappled condition.
Yeah, literally, you grab hold of them, they can't escape they can't move away from you as easily.
Their speed
so
becomes
then you
zero.
go and try and stab them.
Yeah, but that does
Or
make
slash
it
it.
more. But the fact that he was being held and attacked is telling.
He's
Like,
just
they
attacked
weren't-
by more than one.
Well, not necessarily that attacked by more than one, but more the fact that they it indicates that they probably wanted something from him. Because what or they want to stop him from doing something. That's also the option. Or an option at least.
I mean, the most solid thing we've got is the letter. Everything else is pretty much pure speculation.
Yeah, but we need something to go on.
We do. We'll build up some theories, and then we'll try and dismiss them as we go.
I guess what other theories are there? I'm still struggling with the part where somebody attacks him for no reason.
I mean, there's obviously a reason. We just haven't figured out what that reason is yet.
Yeah, we're still gathering evidence. We can
And I
create,
feel
we can
like-
create theories as much as we like at the moment because we don't have the whole picture.
I feel like
As
the
we
lack
get a picture,
of
we'll be making new ones and getting rid of some of them.
I feel like the lack of forced entry also points to it being a meeting that he was aware of.
Yes.
Yeah. Either he was aware that the person was coming in, or someone helped them come in.
Oh man, even though I do expect them to, looking at the place, they probably have good cleaners and everything, but when I give it a good look, see if they missed anything. Oh, we should have got Lyra.
Actually, something that's
We should have got
Some-
Lyra.
another thought is, didn't
Hey, we can still go
Radagar
get Lyra.
say that the doors were locked when he got back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
easy enough. I mean,
weird.
you can lock it on your way out.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but like that's still.
Bear in mind, this is not like a Yale lock or whatever. It's a bolt on the inside of the door.
Hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's weird.
Hmm.
And
Could be
either-
magic, I guess.
It could be magic. Radagar could be lying, or this person literally did have another way of getting in, or at least out.
Wait,
Because if they were expected in, it's not weird to lock the door behind like a guest coming in necessarily. Especially if it was supposed to be like a secure meeting, just as an example. And if they have another way out, then it's like the doors will remain locked at that point.
Actually, like now that you mention it, there is plenty of reason why he might, like Renegar might be involved, maybe as part victim or accomplice.
Well, he
Is-
has an alibi for that night.
Yes, but like he's also been different for a while.
Hmm.
At
Also,
least
an
according.
alibi of one person who's a friend. As much as I
Yeah.
don't want to necessarily doubt,
It's not the perfect alibi.
no.
Yeah, and like like his behavior has been different for a while.
And it's not like he'd have
So-
no reason. They've been fighting about something.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I think we do now? I think some of us go get Lyra. And some of us wait around to see if Ranagar turns up before the others get back, and then we can have Lyra have a sniff.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Cool. So who's staying and who's going?
Well, I'll go get Lyra for sure, because
Yeah,
If you want company, I'll go with, unless somebody has a reason for me to stay here.
I guess me and Elizabeth are more of the, Snoopy types.
Snoopy
Investigating types, you mean?
Yeah, but we're just do some snooping around.
I don't know, I have a mind to...
Snooping as usual, I see.
I have a mind
Although-
to... I have a mind to say Grim should go with Arya, just so he doesn't,
So we
So
don't know what.
just so his mouth doesn't get us into trouble.
And how is
If
my
Ranagar
mouth
does
going to
show
get
up.
us into trouble in a mansion where nobody is?
Well, you're not going to be in a mansion where nobody is. We're going to be standing outside waiting for Ranagar, and if Ranagar shows up, your mouth very well might get us into trouble.
I mean,
Honestly.
honestly, if you two are staying here, you may as well poke around a little bit in the room to make
Yeah.
sure nothing got missed.
Yeah, we should just take a look at the room properly, see if there's anything.
all right. Shall we go, Kelariis?
We shall.
Okay.
Okay.
And the pros roll out.
So, Grim and Elizabeth, what are you looking at?
Well, I think there's two areas of interest, at least initially. The bedroom, where apparently the whole thing ended, and the work. Well, yeah, like that's where the accident happened. But I imagine it may have been initialized in the workspace. What's it called?
Office.
The office.
The office.
/ study.
Study,
The
yeah.
study, yeah. The working workspace, rather.
Okay. So, are you both doing a comb over of both rooms, or are you taking one each?
Hmm.
I mean, we might as well stick.
Like, I think it's best if we, do one room each, and then we swap if we can't, and then we swap at some point
Okay.
if we give up.
So we both do both rooms, but separately.
Yeah.
Okay, so both give me an investigation check then.
Oh wow. The Eddie's beer.
Investigation. There we go.
Nice.
That's
Okay.
less bad. I'm loving these multiples of 5.
Cool. So, Elizabeth, you go over the bedroom, and find very little of interest beyond the dark stain on the cabinet. Yeah, there really isn't anything sort of interest more to find in the bedroom. Grim, you go downstairs and you begin to search through the office. And you begin to like go around peering at everything, but until the point that you realise that actually you're relying on your dark vision a lot to actually see around in this room because of how dark it is.
Oh.
So you pull the curtains open, and as the light begins to stream into this study, you realise something,
Yeah?
and that is even against the dark, black material, thick, dark black material of the curtains, there is what looks like a fine spray up against the curtain.
Oh. Well, in that case, I'll continue looking through the room, and then if once we get to the next swap or whatever phase, once Elizabeth is ready, I'll point it out.
Okay. Yeah, you continue to search around. Eventually, Elizabeth comes down and sort of says, "Did you find anything?"
Oh, actually, important detail: is it on the inside or outside of the curtain?
Inside of the curtain. So it
Inside.
would be on the side facing the room.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Interesting. So, well, I guess our little investigation paid off. At least I hope it did. Seems to be some blood here, and I think that might be from the cuts on the hand.
So can I take a look?
Give me a medicine check.
Here's where we find out it's not actually blood.
No, it's definitely blood.
Oh,
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't really tell very much more than that. It is a blood spray on the inside of a
Yeah.
curtain.
I was gonna say, can I get a lit coin again?
Yep. Well,
Light
there's light streaming through the window now, so it's kind of unnecessary.
Well, yeah, but it's on the inside of the curtain, and light doesn't make corners unless there's something for it to bounce off.
Just flip the curtain.
Yeah, you can just turn the edge of the curtain.
Shh.
It's made of
This is
cloth.
too complicated.
it's too
What?
heavy. Have you seen her
Yeah,
arms?
It's a heavy
Yeah.
drape. Like, come on, I've got noodle arms.
Grim
The-
can do it.
The curtain leans slightly on Elizabeth, and
won't.
Elizabeth is
No.
pinned.
Yeah, Elizabeth plays hide and seek behind these curtains and can't get out without help.
Oh my god! Help! I'm stuck behind the curtain. That is the worst.
No, she's
Oh,
Do
doing
well.
not stare behind the curtain.
Actually, the
I got stuck in
spray.
the wardrobe playing hide and seek once.
Does it reveal any direction that it might have come from? It come from Like this is like looked like it came from above to the left to the right, but I
Un-
guess it depends on how the curtain was hanging.
Yeah, unfortunately, with your medicine check, you are not aware of enough about blood spray to be able to calculate that.
I need a physics check. No.
Check.
I mean, it is
Physics check.
fair.
To be fair, that's also a biology check. 'Cause you've got to know the composition of blood and how it reacts.
That's what medicine check is.
Exactly.
Right.
So there you go. You failed.
So did you.
I want knowledge, not wisdom.
I failed less.
The force of wisdom on Grim. It ends badly. Nah, it's fine.
Anyway,
Yeah. So you continue to look around the room. Don't really discover anything else.
Actually,
swap
I
rooms.
guess we did. I don't know how we didn't even think of this till now. I think like the absence of something is also notable. Like in those plans that we found, there was nothing that would make sense to like. There's nothing that would probably be described by that letter or would make sense with the letter that we found. Right? There were no schematics.
Nope, there were no matching documents to go with it.
So it could be that they took it. Because I assume it existed to some degree because they were expecting it.
It could have
But
existed.
it might also just have been delivered, neatly, like appropriately. But
Well, it certainly could exist. But I don't think there's any way we could know for certain. Beyond seeing it, and it's not here.
well, actually, there is one place that I think we might find more answers. Although it will be a place where we need to be a little more careful. Probably because all this stuff is managed by House Zelphus, right? Or Ziltus?
Yep.
Although considering our victim belonged to was one of theirs, they might be more willing to help.
What do you mean? What place?
Well, Ziltus it goes, it kind of has an idea for like goes about all construction, right?
Correct.
So would it be crazy to think that they, keep records in some sense?
So you think they might have the plans still?
I think if it has been delivered successfully, they might have some kind of receipt. Well, receipts is not quite what I'm thinking, but some kind of documentation.
Well, yeah, Ziltus deal with the buildings of things, but that doesn't mean they're always building for other Ziltus people. It just means they do their building.
Yes, but they're the architect is from Ziltus. The builders are probably from Ziltus. It was probably commissioned, at Ziltus.
Grim has a point. If there is one
fair.
force that controls construction, then it would be Ziltus, and Ziltus would probably keep track of it.
So if we're going to ask anyone, it would be them.
Especially if your
That's why I
suspicions
was
are correct,
thinking
and the building codes in this place are very strict based on what you've seen from construction.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that may be worth investigating then.
And if they are unaware, well, if they don't have any records, that's fine. But if they're unaware of the project he was working on, that is even more reason to be suspicious.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we should talk with Ziltus.
Okay.
We'll need to figure out a strategic way, but yeah, continue.
Yeah.
Arya and Kelariis, you are walking back towards the stables to pick up Lyra.
Cool.
Do you engage in conversation? Do anything? Or just go in silence?
Minnie's gonna kill me. I tell Kelariis.
Because you're going to, or because you're thinking about it?
Oh. Well, hey, you can keep it hidden for Grim. Grim will ask at some point.
I'm not keeping it hidden. It's just funny that you're so insistent on hearing this conversation and you're not even here.
But Minnie will hear this conversation. Grim will not.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fair.
I'm
And
sure
also,
it's Minnie.
Grim will, that we'll just ask it later when we're back
Anyway.
in our room for the night.
Yeah, I mean, Kelariis definitely wants to ask, mostly because she's concerned about Arya.
That's fair.
Especially seeing the way that she acted, like, coming out of that conversation. So probably just, like, not right away, but as we're walking, it's just like, so, your conversation with Jaldrim? I can't, is that how you, Ferrous?
Sorry, hang on. Jaldrim. Yeah.
Jaldrim, yeah.
Jaldrim.
And just kinda,
I can't pronounce it either. It's fine.
Jaldrim.
we're trying.
Well, it was definitely interesting. There's obviously a long-standing feud between the Drow and elves,
Right.
clearly. And so I expected when he wanted to see me alone that it would be the normal spiel about how inferior I was and blah blah blah. But he surprised me. He seemed more interested in having our relations be cordial.
Well, I mean, that's a pleasant surprise.
It was alarming. Not because the suggestion. Well, it was just the suggestion itself that a drow and an elf could ever get along. It's not something you hear, especially from a drow in a position of power. Usually they're the ones who are most aggressive. But he seemed to think that it would be better if our races would get along, because he kept saying diversity is a strength. Which I have to agree, considering our group is quite odd.
I was going to say, I mean, we, of all people, are not really in a place to argue with that statement.
No. And so he wanted to make sure that this investigation went well. Specifically because I was a part of it, and he is, like, in charge of the house.
Right.
Because he thinks it would be a good show of unity between an elf and a drow. And he seemed sincere enough, but I don't know. I'm still on the fence if I actually trust him.
I mean, unless he gives us a reason not to, regardless, we would probably like the investigation to go well on our end and also to figure out what happened, so...
Yeah, that's kind of what I ended up at. Is there's no reason currently for me to think that doing this investigation would be a bad thing.
Not to mention, Grim would probably be upset with ruining our reputation if we,
Yeah.
didn't do our best.
Yeah. So, it was just so unsettling to see a drow speaking in such terms.
I mean, you were there when we spoke with, the Chromatic Dragonborn, back at... Oh, I just forgot the name of the city! Kelariis remembers it, I just forgot it! Holy shit, we were just there.
What city was that?
We were just there.
Where you spoke to the chromatics? You mean the metallics?
Yeah, wait, no. No, I guess they were pirates?
Oh, yeah.
Sort of?
Well, you didn't speak to them
Way
in the
back
city,
when.
you spoke to them on
Well,
the sea.
On
Yeah,
the ship
well,
near
I was
Casport.
gonna reference the city as, like, in
Yeah,
that area.
But by
because-
Casport, yeah.
Yes, Casport, sorry, I couldn't remember the name of the place. But sometimes things aren't always the way it seems, I guess, and...
I suppose there's always an exception to the rule, but his demand seemed, or his, well, not demand, but his proposition seemed in line with our goals, so I didn't see any reason to say no.
I mean, not that you need anybody watching your back, but...
Oh, I would
So-
appreciate it.
I'll do it. Plus, we'll have Lyra with us, and I'm sure that'll be
Yes.
nice.
Yeah. I'll feel better once we get Lyra back for sure.
That's all. That was a pretty long conversation to say, hey, hope the
Well,
investigation-
first you had to talk me off the ledge because I was not exactly friendly to
I mean, it
him
seems like
initially.
he's done that well enough, considering.
For now, at least. That's why he pulled me over, because he didn't want us to mess this up. Which
Well-
is fair, because I don't want to mess this up either.
Yeah.
More
I think
accurately,
we'll-
he wanted you to play within the rules.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because Arya's really good at doing that.
I mean, he has no idea.
Yeah, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know me.
But we do.
Well, I mean, if he's not giving us a reason to not trust him, we want the same thing right now to have this investigation go well. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
I don't know if this is just like a power play somehow, but I don't know how it would be. It's not like there's any elves in this town.
I mean, if we spent all of our time worrying about what may or may not be a power play, we'd probably get nothing done.
That's true.
I-
true.
I get the concern. We'll keep an eye out, I guess, as best we can. It's harder because we're not from here, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he didn't try to threaten you or anything. Not that I don't think you could handle yourself, but
Yeah.
You continue on until you reach the stable. You arrive, like look into the stable to see Lyra. Basically, Lyra is curled up in the middle of the central stall, and every other animal in the place is pushed up against the sides of the other end of the stall, wanting to keep the widest possible berth away from the giant wolf.
My giant wolf.
But yeah, the the woman sort of looks at you, sees the permit, just sort of shrugs a bit and says, "I said no refunds."
That's fine.
Hmm.
But
Take
we'll
it
be
then.
taking her now.
Suits me.
I imagine she comes up and I just give her a nice scratch.
big
Good.
scritch,
Scritch!
Scritches.
Yep.
Scritches behind the ears.
Yes.
big woof
Yep.
scritches.
She stands up and just like does the big bow stretch and then dragging the legs.
And we have to say big stretch because we are legally obligated to say big stretch.
Big stretch.
It is a big stretch
Oh,
on many
yeah.
levels.
No, it feels like kind of a stretch.
Wow.
Wah.
Anyway,
Uh,
that terrible joke aside.
I
yeah,
don't think you can make that joke when we're literally talking about stretching.
I just did. So suck it.
Wow.
So.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you head back with Lyra, show your permit to the guards who are just sort of like, oh, okay, yep, go ahead.
Big dog.
That's a big
Um,
joke.
Checks out.
And yeah, your proceeding passage through the back through the city is significantly easier. You don't find your way fighting your way through a crowd quite so much, as the crowd tends to split around you.
See, this is why it's a good thing to have her. We'll get the
Yeah.
fuck out of her way!
So one thing you do notice is walking back through the streets, you again keep encountering these groups of orcs wearing the various different tribal clothes, or like outfits and robes and turbans, etc. And instead of now like looking at you with sort of like a curiosity, maybe a little bit of suspicion, they're looking at you and then they're looking at the dog and then they're looking back at you, and there's this nice dog kind of like agreement between you, and so
Nice.
several of the
Nice.
group seem to approve of your
Nice.
pet.
Nice.
Winning over the orc tribes.
Having a direwolf.
By having a
Honestly-
direwolf.
Honestly, here for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 100% here for it.
But yeah, you get a couple of odd looks, but a lot of like sort of people just giving you a wide berth, and then a couple of orcs and half orcs sort of being like, "Oh, hey, nice." They seem a lot more comfortable around the giant wolf than everybody else.
The biggest
Well.
mood.
They are
Yeah.
cool.
That is a big mood.
But yeah,
Let's unite.
if
Talk with the pet rather than socialize the party.
eventually they you make your way back to the house. The poor young man who is on duty almost goes to like ask you about the dog, and then is just like, yeah, no, I like living, and steps back into his thing and just lets you through.
This poor guy.
He's
I
just
like
doing his
big
job.
dogs, and I cannot lie.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, Lyra sort of like
bit of a
squeezes
Saturday
in
night.
through the doorway, and sort of like begins to sniff the air a little.
I like the sniffing noises.
Good.
Yeah, just the return.
Immersive
There's
sound
been a
effects.
murder.
There's been a murder!
There's been a murder.
It's like, yeah, we know.
It's like, yeah, welcome to 5 minutes ago when you weren't here.
I guess search for any places that you can smell blood would be the best starting point.
The blood.
The blood.
She just goes straight to the study and we're both there like,
Yep.
oh, hi, Lyra.
Yeah, she probably like sniffs around a bit and then sort of like follows her nose into the study where the two of you are. Just sort of like pushes past you and starts like sniffing at the curtain and on the floor.
Oh, interesting.
Hi, Lyra.
Doesn't pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about the erection I expected. Yeah, we found, there's blood on the curtain.
In the study.
Yeah, like right there.
Interesting.
Elizabeth literally just points at it.
Yeah. Like, I think
So,
it kind of reinforces the idea of a business deal gone wrong.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
We should
Um,
definitely inform them.
Yeah, that's true. And the plan, well, unless Lyra finds anything else.
Lyra, by
so-
the way, has sniffed her way across the floor, has left the room back into the hallway, and is now boom, boom, boom up the stairs.
Okay, well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
follow the dog.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
let's
that
follow Lyra.
tracks.
She's clearly onto something.
let's go.
I mean, obviously, she's probably gonna go for the bedroom. but-
Yeah, she goes straight into the bedroom and is like,
This is when she finds a body and we're like, what?
Oh my god, that would be a twist.
That'd be wild.
just looks up and has the murder weapon and a signed confession in her mouth.
Uh,
Oh my
Damn.
god!
could you imagine
Magic
that?
dog.
Look, could you imagine he killed his attacker, then went to the bedroom and just tripped onto the dresser?
That would
Be quite something,
extremely
wouldn't it?
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh god, yeah. What if we find a murderer with like a written order to kill the guy, like in the wardrobe?
I would question the
To be
written
fair though, if
order.
they'd been there for like over a week, we would have smelt it.
Gross.
We absolutely would have smelled that.
It's been 5
We wouldn't have
5
needed a
days?
wolf.
Yeah, it's been at least a week.
Yeah, we would have smelt that ourselves. Don't think we would have needed a wolf for a
Yeah.
decaying body in a wardrobe.
Dead bodies generally smell terrible.
Yeah, Lyra like sniffs up to the edge of the dresser, sneezes twice, and then just sort of like looks at you.
Does that just mean it's dusty, or does that mean there's something in there?
I mean, we can open it, I guess.
Um,
Obviously,
yeah, you can slide the dresser open.
I mean, obviously, we know there's blood on it anyway. So
Yeah.
Opens the dresser.
Yeah, you slide open the dresser. It's got undergarments in it.
Alright.
fascinating.
Well, Lyra,
I think it's just Dusty.
Well,
Yeah.
she's probably just doing that dog thing. You know what dogs do. Sniff around, they sneeze.
yeah.
They have sensitive noses.
I do.
Yeah, I know that.
It probably also smells funny.
Probably. Because
Oh,
it's
yeah,
drow.
Oh, I was thinking
I
more
gonna go with
brains.
It's underwear.
Oh.
Yeah, I was also gonna go with it's underwear.
Arya. Yeah, because it's drow.
Elizabeth, I was gonna go with underwear.
And Rob is just brains, which is the correct answer.
Yes.
Brains.
God, I can't believe you're so xenophobic.
Well, I mean, drows are evil traditionally.
And it's not like your best friend was literally a spy who infiltrated them and then was nearly murdered by them.
It's fine.
Yeah, but that's just part of the risk she took for being a spy. Like, didn't matter who she'd be spying for. If she then tried to leave, they probably would have been like, she knows too much.
Yeah, but
Like-
still.
Like, if she'd been spying on humans, they probably would have tried to kill her as well.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well.
But yes. So yeah, Lyra sort of sniffs around and yeah, seems to have followed the trail to its inevitable end.
So I think also, like, if she was able to follow a trail in the first place, that probably means that, yeah, there was an initial struggle in the study that retreated to the bedroom.
Seems
some way.
likely.
Also, they cleaned this place horribly.
Well,
Just,
Yeah,
Mitch
we
just
also
like
did
it's
that.
good. You know what? It's good for us.
Well, well, to be fair, we didn't notice the blood the first time we went in that room.
True,
So maybe they
but
just didn't notice it.
well, it was more a case of Lyra
Also,
being able to follow a trail.
also worth noting that the dark furnishings in general make bloodstains, particularly drow bloodstains, difficult to see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dark blood, dark claw.
Yeah.
So
They
yeah,
actually have darker blood. Is
it
that a
may not have
thing?
been cleaned at all.
It is a thing, yeah.
It is a thing, yes.
Oh.
It would also make sense because they don't need sunlight.
Sunlight isn't what makes blood brighter red?
No, but you would need oxygen differently. You would process oxygen differently.
I guess.
They
Don't
have
worry
dark
about
blood. Don't think too hard about it.
just accept the fact that their blood is darker.
Okay, I'm just accepting this fact. I'm not going to think of the biology.
Just don't. Look, we're talking about like magical creatures here. There's nothing about it. that
You
makes
you
sense.
literally routinely teleport halfway across the world. Don't think too hardly about the
I'm permanently accompanied by a small breeze.
yes.
See, all perfectly explained by science, definitely.
Yeah, surely.
Well, to be fair,
well,
this is a fantasy universe. When something isn't explainable by
Yes.
science, we just shrug and say magic.
Yep.
That's just how it
do it.
works.
Magic is just sufficiently
know
advanced
magic.
science.
Yeah. Or is science just magic that we understand? Oh.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, that's how science works.
oh well.
Something's magic, and then we do some research and
yeah.
find out it's actually science.
I mean, to be fair, that is how a lot of things ended up progressing through history, where everybody was like, "I don't understand this thing; it must be magic," and then they're like, "No, actually, there's
Yeah.
there's an explanation, guys.
Like,
guys."
Oh, they're making an egg hover. It's magic. No, they've just tied a really long hair around the egg.
Oh well.
I like
but,
that that's the kind of magic you went to, but oh well.
I'm going to that because there was an actual book published in Britain by monks featuring magic tricks, and that was one of them.
Yeah, but magic
Well.
tricks are different than people not
Well, no,
like having the
because
ability to scientifically understand things and then being like, "Oh, it's magic because we can't right now in this time understand it."
Anyway. Yeah, you have finished your investigations, at least for the moment, when you hear the sounds of muffled conversation, movement, and then the door opening downstairs. And a voice calls up and sort of says, Hello?
Hello there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Yeah, I guess I will call out say. Ranagar, I'm assuming.
Yes?
Yes,
I
we
guess,
are.
yeah, we'll head downstairs.
Yeah, we'll come down, but we're here for, well,
We're investigating.
investigating.
So I'm
Um,
told.
Apologies.
You
Don't be
Yeah.
alarmed. There is a wolf with us, but it's fine.
okay?
Oh, poor
Look,
guy.
That was grim levels of
So yeah,
communication.
you head downstairs to
Yeah.
find another drow elf. This time he has much shorter white hair, in a sort of like swept back short crop.
Match the put the other person in the lot.
It does, yes. Although, well, for starters, the man standing in front of you looks like he hasn't slept for several days.
Well,
Okay,
that's
well,
to be
yeah.
expected.
Understandable.
Yeah,
He found his partner's dead body.
he looks rough and very poorly maintained. He is no longer smiling, and his hair is slightly shorter than it is in the portrait. But yeah, he sort of like looks up at you and through like hazy eyes and just sort of says, "So, what now?"
Well, we were kind of hoping to run into you, and well, hopefully get like an appointment of some kind, so we can
Ask some questions.
yes.
Whenever's most convenient for you.
Sure, I guess. I was just coming back to get some clothes and a few things.
We heard.
Yeah. When would be a more convenient time for you?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know what I'm doing from day to day these days.
Understandable.
If you
are-
need to ask questions, then we could just do it now.
Well, I guess we might as well ask you some now. So you just you in an earlier statement you said that Mr. he started working from home more often.
Yes, often in the evenings.
Yes. Like
And that was unusual for him.
Yes, he usually didn't like to bring work home.
you remember roughly how long ago this started?
Well, it has been on and off for a while. He started maybe 2 months ago, something along that sort of timescale. That was when he first started bringing it back, but it wasn't quite so frequent. And then maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, he started staying most evenings.
Did he tell you what he was working on? That was so important.
We didn't usually discuss work. House business is house business, usually. I don't ask.
Okay.
So,
I knew it was something fairly big, though. He wouldn't have put all this time into it if it wasn't.
Yes. Yeah, we've kind of learned it was something big, but we haven't figured out what it is yet. But we'll hopefully find out tomorrow.
And
Uh.
on the evening it happened, was there anything you can recall that was out of the ordinary? Besides him working from home.
Out of the ordinary. Not immediately that I can think of. He was tenser than usual. We had an argument, not like a big one, but I left some things in the sink and he wanted to get something, and he asked me if I would move things. I said I would do it later, and he sort of flew off the handle a little. He got stroppy, but he'd been like that since he started working longer out. I figured it was just he was just stressed.
Yeah, stress can do fortunate things.
Was that the majority of what you tended to argue about then? Just small home things?
Mostly, yes.
This might be a weird question, but whenever he worked at home, were you ever there as well?
Sometimes.
And did he ever have people over work related?
Not that I recall. He doesn't. He doesn't like to conduct business from his home address, being fairly high in status. That could have been considered improper.
Improper that he would prefer not to, or doing it?
No, taking meetings in his own home.
Ah, yes, okay. No, I can see how that might be considered improper, yes. I misunderstood.
And when you came home that evening, you said that the doors were locked.
Yes.
And there was nothing out of place, obviously, aside from the bedroom.
I must admit I don't remember particularly looking. I came in, I locked the door behind me, I put my keys down, and I went straight upstairs. I'd had rather a bit to drink, and sorry, I don't remember seeing anything that was.
Well, that's all right. It's not easy. I guess.
Well, I guess, assuming that no one else has any questions, where would we find you next if we needed to talk to you again?
Well, I'm currently staying in my family owns a small complex in the south side of town. I'm staying in one of the empty units.
Okay. Well, as if we.
Could you tell us which one in case we needed to, find you?
It's Unit 14.
If you, well, I doubt this will apply to you, but if you, for whatever reason, remember something relevant, you can find us, or if you need anything, really, you can find us at the address of the of the Visimir. Why do I?
Wrong. Dr. Wrong.
Visimus. There we go.
Visimus.
Visimus barrack of well.
Hey Rob, can I
Yep.
just like generally insight check him? I
Yeah,
want to
sure.
make sure he's like being honest.
Yeah, well, I also want to say, like, but, you know, what's the name of the complex? Like,
Fuck's
where is
sake.
So yeah, he explains that it's not really a complex. It's a series of like basically like apartment buildings, basically. But don't think of like apartment buildings up. Think of apartment buildings sideways.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, he gives you a street address. I don't have a street address for it.
Okay.
Arya, he is tired and exasperated with this whole thing. He appears to be telling you the truth, but when he said that the only thing they argued about was home stuff, he's obviously withholding something, but that seems to be for personal reasons rather than any like intent of malice.
Well, I guess Elizabeth looked to everyone like, does anyone want to ask any more questions?
No, I think we'll just offer our condolences then.
Yeah, we'll let you go about your collecting your things. Thank you for your time.
That's okay.
We'll find who did this.
That was
He just doesn't respond to that.
not the right phrasing. It's like we don't even know if anybody did. Oh well.
Yeah, he
I
sort of.
I also just kind of wanted to see what his reaction would be to be saying that.
He just looks sad and resigned. It's like it's a phrase he's heard before, and he's not really sure he believes it.
Okay. Yeah, standard.
He does give a curious side look at you, Arya, as he goes up the stairs, but he doesn't say anything.
I wonder
I
why.
am an elf.
Yeah, you're getting all the curious side looks.
Yeah.
Oh, there's not many elves around here.
It's almost as if there's established racial prejudice.
Almost.
Hooray!
Well,
So, shall we report in and then call it a day?
It is
Do we
getting
have to
late.
report in every day?
I feel like
Well,
there'll
I'm
be
only suggesting we report in because we found something pretty big.
Yeah, I think it's better that we go and tell them about this letter.
we'll see if they're still around. Yes, and if they're in if they've already closed down, just head back.
Yeah, well, yeah, we might as well see if they're still.
Yeah, you head back to the guard. I say guard post, the enforcer post, where you you step inside. Rung is there, leafing through a very colourful-looking book, which the moment you sort of enter through the door, he quickly closes, finishes a mug of ale, like puts it off to one side, and so says, back already?
Well, we did learn something that might be of interest.
Go ahead.
Nothing. I mean, I guess so I'm assuming we did a copy of the letter.
Yeah.
I think,
well,
you wrote down the content of it.
Yeah, we wrote down the content of the letter. I'd honestly just provide him with that.
Well, we found a little. Actually, I guess we'll do that for now.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, We found this letter in his desk drawer.
There
Um,
was quite a few, all matching to various projects he'd presumably worked on, but this one was not only unstamped, but signed weirdly and did not have corresponding plans.
Hmm.
We thought it might be significant.
well, we don't have. Well, okay. Besides besides this letter, we also discovered blood sprays in the office or in the study. So
In
we
the
assume
study?
that's where. Yes, we assume that is where their encounter started, where the cuts in the hand may have occurred.
He looks sort of quizzical and says, so they started fighting in the study and then walked upstairs and...
See, that is the curious bit that we haven't figured out yet.
Yeah.
However, due to with all the things we've heard so far, we have a theory, but we're gonna work on it tomorrow. See how how everything holds up.
Hmm.
By the looks
We
of
just figured
it,
this is information that, well, you might be able to add something that you already have that we don't.
No, we haven't really been through personal records or anything like that. I mean, he's a Scion, it's kind of hard to go poking around in what his business was without ruffling a few feathers, but...
well,
I mean, this letter, it reads weird, but... I mean...
Well,
you gotta
the
bear in
thing
mind,
is-
common isn't the first language of a lot of people who live here.
I mean, the wording of the letter wasn't the main thing I was concerned about.
no, we've put a few things together, but there are still some problems. And well, I guess we might as well share the theory we have so far. We're gonna we assume that look up the name again. The Ziltis guild keeps track of all active builds and all that
Projects.
kind of stuff.
Usually, yeah.
Because what seems weird is this: he started working on this project at home, and then this mysterious letter showed up, and we have a reason to they demanded kind of the plans. So what we think might have happened is he may have gotten himself into something he didn't want to be in, or something unfortunate, and they may have had a meeting which may have escalated. We still haven't discovered if it's the actual death was on purpose or not, but that is what we're going to be looking for now. We're going to be looking into this weird project. Yeah,
because his partner noted that he'd been working from home for a couple months, and he'd been unusually agitated during that time as well.
and it's drastically ramped up just before his death.
Yeah.
And it seems starting to work at home, things, agitation, all these things seem to be signs of some kind of either coercion or an agreement that wasn't ideal. Admittedly, we can't really make any accusations yet.
No, I follow what you're putting down. That does sound... Yeah, it sounds like something's up there. You think it
It's
was
just a
killed
theory right now.
for his work?
Well, we believe that might be the case, but the killing part is still a bit weird, especially how the house was locked afterwards.
Yeah, that's still odd.
It's a I mean, it's a possibility, but as has been stated, we're not certain on anything yet.
Yes, that's why we're first going to check up on, well, if they have this build on record, because then we believe, like, if they do not have his project on record, we would consider that somewhat of a red flag.
Wrong nods.
Unless, I don't know if you, well, or is it more common that, like, some things are, well, not documented?
Well, if it is a construction project and it's not in a Zoltas book, it means, well, it should be in a Zoltas book, but if it isn't, it means it either didn't happen or somebody didn't want it to be recorded. Because, trust me, Zoltas, they keep track of pretty much anything they touch. Anything that money goes in, money comes out, anything to do with that, they're on top of. And from somebody who's been here a while to some outsiders, be a little careful with Zoltas. I mean, every house sort of looks out for its own, but Zoltas takes it to another level. They really aren't fans of people from any other affiliation poking around in stuff that they consider their business. So, choose your words carefully, I guess.
Well, so far we haven't really made set up a proper plan of approach yet, but we're kind of hoping that the fact that we're trying to figure out what happened to a Ziltus, or like
Scion,
may make them more willing. But I guess that might also be a reason for them to just lock up, depending on how they think we stand.
I mean, you can give it a shot, but whatever you do, try to keep the fact that you're working for us out of the conversation.
Good plan.
They, Ziltus and Visimus have history, and it's not good history.
Okay. Well, it's a good warning.
Oh. This is good work.
Well, we've at least made some progress.
I'm impressed, yeah.
Well, so far, but now we actually have to, like, make
We
heads
have
and
to
tails from
see
what
where
we've
it-
done.
Yeah, if it actually goes in that direction.
Well. Keep this up and we might take you on full time.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure if full time will be on the menu for us, but we might be willing to help out some more.
You sure? The house can be very convincing.
Well, I guess we'll see when the time comes.
Well. Cheers for this, he says, holding up the letter, and sort of puts it in the pile of papers that you saw him take stuff out of earlier.
Yeah. If we find anything else, we'll be sure to let you know.
Yes.
He dips a nod, and yeah, you are free to leave.
Yeah.
Good.
Back to the room.
Okay, yep. Diddly-diddly-dee.
Well,
Yeah, you arrive back at the Stew Pot Inn. Nor is as pleased to see you as ever. The small number of patrons still sort of littering the bar. He sort of finishes serving up one group and sort of turns to the rest of you and says, you're back. Same as last night?
Same as last night.
4 balls coming up. Yeah, he dishes 4 balls up, 4 balls of stew. It's the same as yesterday.
I was afraid of that, but
Hey,
yeah.
Elizabeth's a creature of habit. She don't mind that.
Well, but
As long as the stew is good.
Yeah.
like it
It's
was
not
okay stew.
bad.
It's I feel like
for
it's
me.
military ration levels.
Well,
Yeah.
It depends how much you like stew, I suppose.
Yeah.
If you're a
It's
stew person, then a stew that's not bad is probably good.
for
If you're
Elizabeth.
not a stew person, you're probably just like,
For Elizabeth, it's probably a little bland, but you can tolerate it. For Grim and Kelariis, yeah, it's what you're used to.
Yeah.
And Arya, yeah, you don't know. You feel like you could probably do better.
Of course,
I've been
elves and their
consistently feeding myself for a long time.
Yeah.
elves and their superior food.
Wow.
More like elf who ran away as a child and had to survive on her own.
elf who
Well,
makes her
and-
own food.
Sounds like you're boasting about fresh meats and berries every day.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
that is one advantage Arya would have had making stew is that her catch probably would have been fresh, and this probably almost certainly isn't.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
That's
some
fair.
meats have to hang them for a couple of weeks or days,
Yeah.
depending on what it is.
Yeah.
I
But then you're
don't
probably
know.
not using that for stew meat is the other thing.
No.
No.
At least even
No.
if it is still within the realm of being fresh for that.
I'm still
Yeah,
not sure if
fair
I want to ask what this is.
It's probably fine.
Well, yeah, I know it's probably fine, but you get curious.
So I guess I can tell you guys about my meeting, and I won't explain it again because you already
Yeah.
heard it
Yeah.
with
When
Lars.
we're in our room, I imagine, as people ask.
Yeah, so
At which point
Arya
Elizabeth just-
rattles off.
Yeah.
In that case, Elizabeth just goes, "Is that it?"
I think you underestimate how odd of a conversation that was.
Honestly, Elizabeth wants to insight check her.
Do it.
Go do it. I don't care.
I have faith that Arya would tell me
Yeah.
the truth.
Are you lying?
I'm not lying. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, then-
that was an unusual conversation with a drow.
In that case, yeah, Elizabeth's just gonna go, "Huh. Honestly, from the look of your face, I was expecting something way worse."
I
Well-
just don't know how far this goes and if I can trust it.
Honestly, I feel like Arya trusting a drow is pretty bad.
Well, it's not
don't-
bad, it's just unexpected.
It's
Well, yeah, I
definitely
mean-
a reversal.
I still like to think that all of us can learn to trust anyone, regardless of who they are.
Almost anyone.
The drows just have a very
Yeah.
dark and terrible history.
Like there's some
It's-
there's some people that I'd never give a chance.
Well,
Although I guess
well,
they
as,
aren't people.
as we were told that the drow here are very different to the ones in the Underdark.
Oh no, like it wasn't the drow I'm worried about.
Hmm?
I was thinking I was thinking people like Ferrous do, and I'm not
well,
gonna change my mind about that guy.
yeah.
Oh well,
Uh,
yeah,
well.
okay, yeah. Oh, well, I was referring more to the drow of a terrible history. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
but these, I guess, are different drow.
I didn't
As
believe-
as Elizabeth is more than happy to point out, there are many races in the world that all have a terrible history, not
Yes.
exempt from several of your own.
Yeah, Dragonborn, fucking elves,
Yep.
humans.
as far as
everyone.
I'm concerned, gnomes only brought greats and
probably
recorded
think-
everyone else's shame.
I can probably think of a few.
Wow.
Like Elizabeth's probably capable of bringing up a few things that gnomes have done that have been questionable, right?
Yeah, probably.
Gnomes are just too great. Just
Yeah, but they probably supply very, very dangerous weapons that go on to kill many, many, many people in brutal, horrible ways.
sounds
I
like
mean,
yeah,
propaganda
that
to
there are
me.
always going to be people who do terrible things. That just means that there need to be people like us that try not to, and to try
Yeah.
and stop those things.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, so,
There's definitely the fair share of gnomish scientists with questionable ethical backgrounds.
yeah, there you go.
like it's not their fault that their
Yeah.
products are used for misfortune.
It is their fault they made it, though,
It's
with the
fine.
intention to cause misfortune.
Well, that's the question.
It's also more like the testing of untested like alchemical products on perhaps less than willing victims.
Sure, they had nothing better to do. Oh no, that's really dark.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
yeah. So yeah, Elizabeth's just like look at Arya slightly like in disbelief still, just like what?
It's
I
just a centuries-old blood feud. That's
yeah. I know the history. I'm just amazed that of all things that could make you look genuinely.
I mean, it's easy to say that you know something from the outside, but
I
I
was
know, but-
raised on stories of horrible drow that would come and kidnap children and sacrifice them.
I mean,
And at least some of that was true.
And at least some of that was true.
well,
Because, yeah, they did kidnap some children. Definitely at one point.
I mean, I don't know. Like humans probably had their fair share of horror stories about the elves.
Yes.
everybody has horror stories about most other races, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the point is that it's Arya's giving a chance, and
I mean, I've been
that's-
alive for 100+ years, and I have never in my life encountered a drow who would talk to me like that. So,
to be fair, how many drow have you actually encountered?
I don't
That's
know.
another good
That's a good question.
Well, I guess there was the one bad one.
Yeah, you probably actually you probably have not encountered all that many. There's definitely been encounters where you have perhaps stumbled across probably like parties traveling through the forest, getting up to stuff that you've been like, right, yeah, I probably shouldn't meddle with that because they outnumber me like 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you've had any like that many direct encounters up until what you have had in the campaign.
Yeah, my goal wasn't really hunting drow.
Yeah, you had
No.
more important things to focus on.
Like hunting monsters.
Like hunting monsters. Even though drow are monsters.
Make a religion out of this. Wow.
Make a religion out of
No,
this.
Don't.
I believe you
No,
pulled a
wait,
picture
wait,
of
no,
like a
don't.
monster and a drow next to each other. These are the same to me.
Once you define the difference
That's the
between these two
same picture.
It's the
Once you
same
find the difference
picture.
between this picture, one's a drow, one's a cockatrice. It's like they're the same picture.
That's racist.
That is really racist. I'm not
There you
saying that
go.
Arya is not being racist.
Yeah, can't believe it.
I am saying that she has a reason. Whether or not it's right is another question.
Yeah.
But that's why she's so shook up, is she's never
But yeah.
encountered a drow like that. Especially one, I think it would be different if it was maybe a drow that didn't have a lot of power or whatever, but this guy has a lot of power.
Yeah.
Which makes it even weirder.
At this
Not
point,
some random weakling.
Yeah. At this point, Elizabeth seems to have some sort of revelation and just continues to think to herself for a bit. Actually, that kind of makes this kind of makes sense now. Of course, the one thing that leaves Arya looking starstruck is someone being nice to her when she wasn't expecting it.
I don't think that was quite the.
I think the
Yeah.
nice is different.
Well,
yeah.
nicer than she expected.
Though that said, in the end they did. Well, I guess is it selfish?
Hmm?
They wanted to do it to show as a show of unity, but I guess that's not necessarily selfish.
I mean, there's probably multiple factors behind them wanting to do it, and I doubt all of them are selfless.
Yeah.
But I guess we've not got any particular reason to doubt their intentions for the moment.
Like I was saying to Kelariis, it seems to line up with what we want anyway,
Yeah.
but it's just unnerving.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
we should probably figure out what we're. Well, I guess we kind of know what we're doing tomorrow, right? So we're going to stop by House Siltus.
We're at least going to. I suppose we should be taking things more formally, so it's probably more relevant to request some sort of meeting.
Well, I assume that they have just like as Visimus has wrong, they have someone else who can like help us in that regard.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, possibly. We just need to
Admittedly,
find out where they are. 'Cause
if we went,
there's much more Ziltus buildings than there are Vismus buildings to check.
well, like I assume if we ask someone, they will be able to tell us.
Possibly.
There's plenty of Siltus walking around. The only thing is, if we're too proper about it, we might be here a couple of weeks before we get
Yeah.
a response. Oh, dang it,
Yeah.
that does kind of. We should probably have asked if what their rules are on helping out other houses. Perhaps I was thinking, perhaps we could do them a small favor of some kind.
There wasn't anything in your contract that said you couldn't.
And yeah, like I imagine as long as it doesn't directly impede House Vismus, I doubt they'd really mind. Especially if it furthers their investigation.
Could you imagine we end up with badges for all 4 houses?
We gotta collect them all.
It's like, which badge to flash? Oh, that would get us killed. Yeah.
They would definitely not endear us to everyone.
So you're the you're the Archmage of the Mages College and the Master of the Thieves Guild and
the head of the Dark Brotherhood.
Yep.
And the Speaker of the Dark Brotherhood. And
Yeah, it's fine. Well, you know, at least those aren't as mutually exclusive.
Like, and a tribune in the Imperial Army.
It's fine.
And the Harbinger of the Companions.
Oh, you know what? Perhaps this might be silly, but no, I was thinking like we could go a little more rumor fishing. We don't find much.
That's true. You can always ask
Yeah.
around, see what everybody's saying.
Because what's the place called? The Matron's
Maiden
Trove.
something? Oh, the Matron. Yeah.
That place has probably got a few rumors about it. Besides, taverns are usually the best place to go for rumors.
People like to talk after a few drinks.
I will admit that. Like
and people like to talk to their local barkeep as well.
Yeah, it might not
The
hurt.
local barkeep is likely to overhear conversations between their patrons.
Yeah, but he's not likely to divulge them to a stranger.
Possibly not.
Because that barkeep has loyalties here.
Yeah, but we can talk to the patrons.
Yeah, that's not.
They might be a little less invested.
True.
Regardless, we have ways of finding things out.
So we can always we could still play the newcomer card. Like, oh, we're sorry, we didn't realize. We won't do it again.
I just love how Elizabeth said that so ominously, like, we have ways. And I just thought about the staff.
Yeah, the rod.
No.
And I was like,
probably...
well, I guess there is that.
But yeah, her own brain. To be fair, she probably was thinking about that as she said it.
Yeah.
Well,
Honestly,
the baton can do more things than just teleport people now.
Honestly, I can't help but like just whenever somebody said like whenever you do the baton thing, I can't help but imagine Kelariis, but like going Super Saiyan kind of.
Basically.
No, I just glow, I think.
By the power
but
of
in the crossing.
Grayskull.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the crossing, you're extra menacing and everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I've described it like this before, but it's like when you use the Bright Lord's powers in Shadow of Mordor.
Oh yeah, that.
I think what you described it to me as just like there might as well just be a god standing in front of you, but it's technically Kelariis.
Yeah, it's Kelariis, but like burningly on fire and with red flaming hair.
And angry.
Yeah,
It's
it's the "you will suffer me" moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think as we've proven, not everybody's reaction to seeing just any old god is gonna be spectacular. Some people panic and say, "Triferian, my boy."
Yep.
Yeah.
My boy.
Well, yeah,
This
but,
peace
like,
is what all true warriors strive for.
I'd like to point out, though, he was kind of, chilled out and not bearing over you angrily, sort of.
Yeah, no, but that's
on
I know,
fire.
but that's what I
That's the thing
said.
that's
Just
fine.
regular old god meeting.
Well, yeah, okay, true.
know, as-
Angry, on fire,
Yeah.
god.
He was still like a 12-foot tall giant angel man.
Well,
Yeah,
we've
but
wait,
yeah,
wasn't
but
the,
he's chill.
wasn't
We are
the
Triferian.
wasn't the storm giant bigger?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a storm giant.
Yeah, in terms of height, not necessarily in terms of breadth.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Are you telling me that? Are you
But,
telling
like,
me
it
that
was
the
more-
storm giant is a stick insect?
But it's
No, I'm
it's,
saying
it's more-
Tritherian has a wingspan.
Oh yeah.
But
okay,
it was more like as in like it's not the first time we've like had a peaceful meeting with a creature of that size.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah. You are very much not normal people when it comes to interacting with the supernatural and mythical.
No. I mean, look at us. We've talked to a giants. We fought giants. We fought a dragon. We fought.
I like
we
it.
fought demons alongside a literal god.
See, honestly, I feel like your list is kind of going. We met X, we killed X. We met Y, we killed Y. So,
No. Just because I said we met X and killed X doesn't mean I then said we met Y, we killed Z.
that's fine. Oh, we also talked to a dragon for a bit.
Well,
Oh.
it's more he like rambled at us.
Oh, we had some remarks, and he
He had a villain monologue, and I insulted him. That's about it.
I don't know, like he made us an offer and everything.
He did.
Oh yeah, true.
Like we had negotiations with that guy.
Yeah, but it's not like we went into those negotiations with the possibility of a compromise. We went into those negotiations knowing full well we were going to decline him and kill him. I don't think it counts.
I mean, that was entirely your fault.
Yeah, like we were like it's just us being narrow-minded, to be honest.
I mean, I don't like the idea of what his deal was going to be. Like he literally put up a big like fucking poisonous aura around this entire area that was the only way for people to get from A to B.
No, people come around. Nah,
Anyway.
it's fine.
So, I guess you guys finish up your conversation. You make plans to visit House Ziltus the next morning.
Oops.
And you guys take a long rest. And I think that's a good spot for us to leave it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have done some investigations. You have found some leads.
We only got through a single day because we were too busy talking about resurrecting a guy.
Oh god.
Yeah. This is fine.
You're welcome, Ferrous. But I didn't expect that to distract us for so long.
I didn't expect you to come up with it, and then I was sort of panicking for a short moment, thinking, shit, is this plan actually gonna completely ruin my murder mystery? But then I realised, actually, no, that it doesn't.
I
So-
mean, once you throw down the idea of bringing someone back to life, it just
Yeah.
throws a wrench in everything.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
could you imagine
because-
that in murder mystery films? Like Murder on the Orient Express, they're just like, it's okay, we can cast some magic and bring him back to life. And the guy goes, it was this guy, and everyone goes,
Yeah, but
It'd be a much shorter film.
like I kind of thought of it, and I was like, oh man, I don't want to accidentally ruin everything. Like, but
No,
on the other hand,
I definitely paused and considered it for a moment and considered if it would break it, and no, it would not. So
I guess it would just lead into it would just be a very
yeah,
radically different path.
it would have very much changed how the story developed. But yes,
Oh, that's
I just
also
love the
what
idea of like someone saying that and Rob just going, "Oh fuck, I didn't think about that."
I mean, I did
know
that
what it is?
internally.
You know what that
Yeah.
is, right? Minnie showed up and went, this. is resurrection. And Ferrous went, dear God. And we went, there's more. No.
No.
Although the only problem now is that it's canon that if you're missing part of your brain, you will come back.
So
handicapped.
everyone try to avoid getting your head bashed in.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's a good general rule of thumb, is avoiding getting
Yeah.
your head bashed in.
It
Or,
is.
alternatively, just make sure you have access to a cleric who can cast a better resurrection spell.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
restores
but
things like
that's
that.
not
Yes.
a
I
really
mean,
viable
you
option.
were very lucky that the dragon only decided to crush 50% of the bones in Elizabeth's body, not
Yeah.
Yes.
bite her head off.
Honestly, like when the dragon came down, I was more expecting just a little snack.
Nom.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me.
Like I guess she was too bony.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of meat.
Well,